Not only did our region pretty much invent commercial nuclear energy with the construction of the first reactor dedicated solely to peacetime use at shipping port in Beaver County a little more than 50 years ago, we've been benefiting big time from the so-called nuclear renaissance, a surge in interest in nuclear power around the world. The new markets for nuclear led the Westinghouse Electric Company to establish a new plant construction business in Cranberry Township and scale at a rate not seen since the company started cracking atoms back in the 1930s. Then came Fukushima, the nuclear accident caused by a tsunami in Japan. Add to that the low price of natural gas, the result of the exploitation of unconventional natural gas reserves, especially here in the Marcellus. All of a sudden, energy experts have raised questions about the future of commercial nuclear energy. Well, Danny Roderick's working on the answers. He recently took the helm of Westinghouse as president and CEO, and welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
Good to have you here. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you. It's good.
Yeah, you're 6 months into it. Do you feel like you've got your sea legs?
I do. You know, this is a great company with a great history that we're navigating through, like you said, a little bit of troubled waters right now, but the company's still doing very strong, and it's been a great move for us into Pittsburgh here. So.
Well, tell me about this. You had part of your career with General Electric, a lot of it in the utility industry. You know, these are kind of turbulent times to some degree in the nuclear energy industry. So when the call came and the opportunity came up at Westinghouse, why did you want to do it?
Well, you know, Westinghouse is by far the world's greatest nuclear company, and most of my career has been spent in the nuclear industry, and so the growth opportunity here is just absolutely great. And historically, you know, I've been a customer of Westinghouse. I've been a competitor of Westinghouse, so it really put me in an interesting position to take the helm at Westinghouse, having seen Westinghouse from all sides of the business.
And so you still think it's a growth story? I mean, certainly the way we've been talking about it 10 years ago, all of a sudden it looked like a growth story. You still feel that way? You
know, it is still a growth story. It's a little different growth story because the market changes and the international dynamics have changed. But even during that, even last year, closing the books that we did at our fiscal year at the end of the first quarter, you know, we still have a record revenue coming in right now for the history of Westinghouse. You know, we do have some financial things that we have to work through because of the slowdown of the new build, but our services and fuel business and automation businesses have picked up. And in fact, our automation business just outside of Cranberry is working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And so those businesses have actually really boomed, while others may have slowed down a little bit.
You mentioned two of the big challenges in the beginning, the accident in Japan as a result of the tsunami, and then of course the natural gas. Which of those is the bigger challenge for nuclear power and for Westinghouse right now?
Well, you know, the facts about Fukushima, people are becoming much more educated. In the U.S., people now are actually more in favor of nuclear power than they were before Fukushima, partly because of the amount of education that came out about what went wrong and what actually went right, which was really the physics of the plant itself. You know, it did what the plant was designed to do, given that all the other things around it failed. You know, the ability to respond, some of those other issues. The commercial U.S. nuclear industry has worked very hard to learn from those, but even before that, after 9/11, took significant measures to prevent those kind of events. The gas story is a little different. So I'm seeing Fukushima becoming less of an issue. The gas issue is hitting some of our customers very hard that are in nuclear because of the low price of gas. Yet the one thing that gas always becomes a problem is its volatility. Mm-hmm. And that is always the weakness of gas. So when gas is $3 in Pittsburgh, it's $35 in New York. And so when you look at $35 gas, nuclear is still very much in the mix. $3 gas, it's a tougher putt for new nuclear. And that's why we've really been focusing more on that existing plant services and fuel business growth.
Yeah, I would think, because for this whole gas opportunity to sort itself out, it could take a while. They keep finding more reserves in some places. The rest of the world, it's still in short supply.
I think the issue isn't supply. For years, everybody thought the issue was supply. The issue is distribution, is how do you get the supply to where it's needed. So we're going to be very fortunate here in western Pennsylvania to continue to draw business in with low-cost gas. So it's not a nuclear versus gas story. It's a complementary story, really, that what nuclear helps you do across the country and around the world is make you not reliant on importing gas if you're not a developer of gas like we have here in Pennsylvania. And the second issue is that to give you that stability of price over a long period of time.
You talked about the big short-term opportunity in terms of servicing the plants, improving their productivity and their operations. Still building some new ones, right?
We are.
China, pouring concrete in Georgia, too.
Correct.
Saw an announcement very recently.
And South Carolina. Okay. So we poured the first base mat of new nuclear units for the first time in 30 years in this country for power plants in outside Columbia, South Carolina, and Augusta, Georgia. And so we have 4 units under construction in the United States, which is good, and we have 4 others under construction in China, and have several others that are getting ready to start in China, maybe even later this year.
Okay, well, there's a whole new twist coming along in commercial nuclear energy, and that it's thinking small. So when we come back, I want to talk to you about small modular reactors and what that may mean to Westinghouse. Next up, small modular reactors. We'll be back with Roderick of Westinghouse in just a moment. Stay with us.